Hello again. In this video I will set up the game for a solo play against the Automa, and we're gonna do a game setup and we're gonna play one whole round, and from then on we're gonna just continue making videos playing. Every video will be just one round of play, so you can like slowly go into the game and see how everything works. So I'm gonna sit myself on the red here. I'm gonna be house building, and house Hostilius will be run by house Autominus actually. To prepare Automa, you just shuffle this deck. Automa doesn't use agents or cards. It does have a setting on this track here, and it does use it doesn't buy anything, so it doesn't need this token. It uses units, and it uses these conflict tokens and these banners. To set up the game, I started one of my house method in my hand. All of my agents are also in my hand. I will set one of my tokens here on this track on the board. The other one will be stay with me when I'm gonna use it when I go to the board to buy something. We start with 2 troops in the garrison, 1 spice and 1 solari, and same for the Automa, just like your player. Start with 2 troops in the garrison, 1 spice and 1 solari. Alright, now we're gonna shuffle this Imperium deck, and we're gonna draw 5 cards here that we can bid for. We're gonna shuffle all other decks, intrigues, conflicts. We're also gonna get shadow emissary cards. We can, when you're playing against the Automa, it's you play it openly. Normally you would like look what it is and set it beside you face down, so other players don't know. But with the Automa, you actually have to know what the Automa is looking for. So I'm secretly working for the Emperor, my house, and Automa is secretly working for the Spacing Guild. Then we're gonna, for 2 players, and Automa is the second player, we're gonna have 3 locations set in this manner. So from top to bottom and from top toward the right. So this is like first location, second, third and fourth, which is important when you're using Automa and when you're resolving conflicts. So let's shuffle this location deck. So with 2 players, we're going to have 3 locations. So in this playthrough, we're going to have the Summer Palace of Caladan. We're going to have Windfields of Arrakis. And we're going to have Arcane City of Arrakis. Now, notice this little icon here. This means that this location also comes with one of these conflict cards. This icon here represents conflict cards, which you set like this. You take the conflict cards, you don't look what it is, you set it face down under the location, and then later on, if there are conflict that resolves to taking this location, because we're gonna fight for the location to take them to a stash, to have them like points. So when that happens, that conflict cards will be resolved. All right, here we don't have any, just 2 points, 2 points here and 2 points here. And that's the setup. If you have 4 players, then the 4th location is in play. With 2 and 3 players, you always have 3 locations in play. The game, our goal in the game is to get 3 or more of these locations in our stash, and by the end of the round. And if we do that, the game ends immediately. Basically, whoever gets 3 or more of these locations that will be signal for the game end, and then we're gonna count the points. We are now ready to play around. I will take the first player token. It will go clockwise, so Automa is gonna also be the first players next round. Let's start. So round begins with the auction, and I'm gonna take, well, let's use this little token to track every phase of the round. So during the auction, we're gonna look what cards we want here. Keep in mind that due to my coalition with the Emperor, I like to collect the cards that belong to Emperor. So let's see if there are any here. Spacing Guild, this is one of the advanced cards, Bene Gesserit, no Emperor cards, but there might be some on the top. So we're gonna use our agents to bid for the cards. It's simple. You decide which agents you're gonna take, you flip it face down, Automa's gonna do the same. We flip these agents back, and whoever has the bigger number of them is gonna be first to take the card from this row. The second one is gonna be the second to take the card from a row. Now here is where you start thinking, where do I want to go? Now I would like to collect some location with the Emperor banners, but there are not any here, so I still can go for the points. It's not going to be additional points, but it's going to be some points. Keep in mind that there are some conflict spaces, just like in Dune Imperium, marked with these crosswords, and there are not many on each of these locations. Like here, there are only 2, so it could happen that you get blocked by other players, because when we send an agent, you cannot send on the same space. I mean, you played Dune Imperium, you know how that works. Some spaces also have additional costs. So for instance, if I want to go here, I also have to pay 2 spice. Right now I only have 1 spice, so not possible for me to go there right now. Later on will be. 2 Solaris is a price here. Also notice that some of these spaces have markings or icons of your agents. These are those spaces where when you send an agent, you also activate the special ability of the agent. Here I need a blue icon, but also I need to show you closer. Political power. Political power you get from the cards from your discard. In the first round you will not get any cards in a discard, but from then on it will be. So I don't see any cards that can help me. Automa will automatically go to the highest card of the Spacing Guild, so you will probably try to take this one, which means maybe I want to bid higher and get that card before Automa, because for Automa that's going to be points in the end of the game. It's not going to be points for me, but this is a pretty good card. First, it has 4 political power. With it I can go almost everywhere except on the green spots. It's gonna give me troops, and then later on, if I manage to activate this, I can even pay some spice to get more troops. These are one of the advanced cards. Doesn't belong to anyone, but has usually some special abilities. Right? Removing 1 troop belonging to anyone from the conflict of your choice is pretty good. With the spice you can do it again. We have here Concubine Assassin. You get 2 Solaris. Here's one of the new icons. This represents that this power with the swords, which gives you more strength in the combat, activates by one of these tokens. Now, if the token doesn't have an image, just like a little star, it means any token. So any of these tokens can activate these abilities. This is also a good one card. Anyway, so keep in mind that any agent you send to bid will be exhausted, so you will not be able to send him to go on these locations in the conflicts. So they will be kind of locked till the end of the round, unless you can actually send another agent to a specific place from which they can be revitalized. You get them back. Right now there is no location with that, but if there is any, it would be with the symbol of the agent with a little like an arrow pointing up. This is also one of the new icons, this one here, meaning that you can get a card from a discard. And there are lots of spaces that says or, so Either you get a card from a discard back in your hand, or get 3 Solaris. You already know these design 3 cards and troops, spies, and so on. So, looking here, I think for now, since I'm thinking to get more troops in the garrison, I want to keep my Sword Master not for bidding right now. I'm probably gonna, well, I cannot go here. Let me think. Alright, I have a plan. So I'm gonna bid a spy. And since I'm playing against the Automa, I can bid openly. I don't have to hide because there are no other players to see out, and Automa is just gonna get a card and bid. So let's look at these Automa cards. You can see there is a little number of the card, and then we only look at the part for auction here. That's the only thing that we look. He also bid 2, and I bid 2. Good example. We both bid same. So tiebreaker is the first player marker, and whoever is sitting on the left side of the first player. Right now I have a first player, so I will win this bid. This agent is exhausted. I'm gonna set it on the right side of the banner. Automa is gonna place this here. So I will be first to take the card, and I think I'm gonna take House Accusations. So that will be my card in my hand. Now Automa is gonna take a card, and remember when I said maybe I should took this one, it's gonna go. So Automa is working for the guild, and when it's taking the cards, it's gonna take the card that belongs to guild with the highest I call the political power. This has a 4, this has a 2. If there are 2 of the same political power, you can choose for the Automa. Doesn't really matter, you just collect the cards. But if there are no any cards of the specific faction they are working for, it's gonna take one random from the top of the deck. In this case, it's gonna take this one. It's gonna just stash it for the points later on. That's all the Automa do with the cards. But then you look at the numbers of the card. There is a 0 and 6. Usually you look the first number, and you're gonna discard one card from this Imperial row, this called Imperial row, that belongs to that number. Now 0 and 6 we cannot discard any, because there is no 0 space. I mean, should be said like 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and there are no 6 cards. So in this case, none other cards will be discarded. But if there was like 1 and 3, you always look the first number. The first card will be discarded. So the Automa, besides taking one card, always gonna discard one from the Imperial row. So it's gonna make some mess for us always. All right. Now that was the auction. This will not fill in until the next auction. So we are going to sending an agent. And this is the case where I want to play a card to send one of my agent. And I already have a plan. I actually want to send my my concubine here. It's not going to put me in the conflict, but maybe later on I'm going to go in some conflict. So I'm going to play I have to play House Accusations. Why? Because there is a Fremen icon that gives me ability to go to this Fremen space. And I'm gonna send my concubine there, which will activate her ability. Now when you're sending agent, first you pay anything. If there is anything on the black spot that you have to pay, you pay for this first, otherwise you cannot send an agent at all. Nothing here to pay, just to have an icon. Then you take the resources in any sequence you want. So I can take these ones, then these ones, then these ones from a card, or I can go from the card first, or then here. Doesn't really matter. In this case, I get 1 troop and 1 card. So troops, if they are not in conflict, always go to garrison. 1 card I can pick up from here or from the top of the deck. In my case, I'm gonna go randomly. So 1 more card in my hand. Okay, Harkonnen Harvester, 8 spies. That's a pretty good card. And since I send the concubine on the spot that is reserved for concubines. You can send other agents, but concubines here get some, as I said, special things. I can get 1 spice or 2 Solaris. I think I'm gonna take 2 Solaris because I'm gonna probably get spice from that Arconian Harvester later on. And lastly, or firstly, I could do it, as I said, in any order. I will get whatever is in this center line of the card. In this case, I will get 1 Intrigue and 2 more Solaris. So let's take 1 Intrigue card. Ooh, nice one. And 2 more Solaris. I'm just going to exchange this for 5 Solaris. And that was me sending an agent. Now, additional stuff you can do. If you want, during your turn, you can activate the bottom part of this card here, which basically, if I have that faction token, I can place it on the card, and it says choose a player to remove 1 of his banners. So if someone has already a banner on the location, and this is how you actually capture location, placing the banners, and these are the number of banners you need on 1 location to capture it. So if someone already captured location, you can use house accusation and said, no, he took that, like it wasn't by the Canley law or something, and he has to remove banner. So pretty powerful card to play it. But at the end of the run, it's going to go to discard. So if I wanted to play it again, I have to put it somehow back into my hand. And keep in mind, there is a spaces where you can do that. All right. Last thing, whenever you play an agent, you can also use them to go to specific place and pay with your cards from a discard pile with their political power to do additional stuff. But I don't have any, and it's not going to happen on the first round. Anyway, so from the first round and so on, you will be able to go to these spaces. Otherwise, it would be too powerful. So that was me sending an agent. Now the Automa is also going to send an agent, and Automa is going to continue as we go through this. One important thing, you can choose not to go to auction, and you can choose not to send agents. But if you don't auction, you don't get cards. If you don't send agents, well, could be sometimes tactical, to not send immediately to see what your opponent's going to do, and then have more agents later if you skip some bidding and so on. There are, as I said, there are some plays here. Anyway, let's see what the Automa is going to do. So we draw a card, and now we are looking just on this part with the agent in the central part. And this is how Automa thinks. So Automa is working for the guild. So first it will try to go to the location that has a guild banner. There are no such locations. All right. Then next thing, it's gonna try to go to the location where the player already have a banner. Actually, where the Automa already had a banner, there are no such location. Then if there are banner with that player went there, no such thing. If there is a conflict, they're gonna go there, no such thing. So in this case, it's just gonna go from the first. So 1, 2, 3, and it's going to try to go to the conflict space using the first icon. Now remember, Automa used this as agent. So this is like a Mentat. It's going to want to go to Mentat space that is also a conflict space. Is there any here? No. Is there a blue space that is also a conflict space? No. So it's going to skip. It's going to try to go here. Is there a Mentat space that can put Automa in conflict? Yes, there is. Here it is. So Automa is going to go here, and Automa doesn't have to pay anything, but it gets what is on the spot. So in this case, it's going to get 2 of the troops. It's going to send it in the conflict, and then Automa always send the maximum number of troops in the conflict. If you remember from DUNE Imperium, you can send up to 2 more troops from your garrison. So it will send 4 troops here, and then it's gonna take this little sword and place it on one space where the banner should be, announcing that is now in conflict. Now battles here are different than in DUNE Imperium, and you'll see that as we progress, because we might actually have a battle here. Maybe, we'll see. Anyway, the last thing is you check if the Automa was sent on a space that like corresponding to the agent icon, Automa also is gonna get one of these faction tokens. In this case, it's gonna take one of these, it's gonna put it on the card, and it's gonna move one space forward here. Bam. So Automa will collect points much more efficiently than you can. So you have to watch out. You really need to pay attention and you know, be on top of your game. All right, so that was that. That was sending one agent. Now we go to the auction again. We're gonna fill this in from left to right. And again, we can send agent to bid. Now, keep in mind, if I don't send agent to bid, I will not get any cards. I do have 2 cards that I can send these 2 people. But then in the round 2, I will not get any cards. I will probably have to bid. So right now I'm thinking I probably want to bid here. And I would love to get into this conflict, but there is no way I can pay for this yet. So sadly, I can't see the way I can do anything. But I can go in some other conflict later on. But let's bid for now. And looking, there is a good card for me. I work for the Emperor. Shadow Advisor. Alright, interesting. So let's see where I can actually be in the conflict. I can go here. Yeah, I think I will fight for the Arakan city of Arrakis. So let me think. I will bid Mentat 3. Automa will bid a 2. So I'm first to choose a card. So let's see. And I think I'm gonna take Shadow Advisor. And now Automa's gonna go for the guild cards. There is one here, Guild Planetologist. It's gonna take it. And then number 2 cards from a row would be discarded. But there is no any. Now we check the second number, number 6. There are no 6 cards, so Automa will not discard anything. And that's it. So that was our second auction. Now we're going to sending the rest of the agent. This is where we all gonna play all agents, and the amount of agents, we can also skip to not send them, but usually you want to do that. And if I had like 2 agents, Automa will also send 2. Because Automa always sending agents the same number as you are sending agents. Anyway, I have a first token, so I will be first to send. I think I need lots of spice, so I'm gonna use Harkonnen Harvester, and I will send my Sword Master here to Arakan city of Arrakis. I have to pay 2 Solaris, which I have. So 5, I'm gonna get 3 in return. Bam. I don't get anything from my bonus from Sword Master. This is not a place for Sword Masters. I can get a troop in or intrigue card and then put troops in the conflict. I think I'm gonna take an intrigue card. Okay, nice one. Which could be play as a plot or combat. Plot cards you can play during your turn. So right now, if I want to, I can play immediately this, or I can keep it for the combat, which happens during the conflict resolution phase. Alright, so I can send up to 2 troops here. Why not? I will. I will put one of my, it's called, doesn't really matter where you put them, but from then on you're going to put the banners also there. I'm in this conflict. And lastly, I will get 8 spice. That's a lot of spice. 5 and 1, 2, 3. Now I'm rich. This Harkonnen Harvester, this massive thing, can bring you a lot of spice. Alright, that was that. Now the Automa is going to also send 1. And as I said, oh, it's actually going to reshuffle a deck. Okay. Then it's going to draw again. Alright. So, as I said, it's going to check, is there any location with the guild symbol. No, there is no mean conflict here, but there is mean conflict here. So it's gonna start looking here first. Is there a place for the concubine that is also a conflict place? No. Is there a place of the guild that is also a conflict space? Yes, there is here, and Automa doesn't have to pay this price. So Automa is gonna send its card here, and it's gonna get 2 troops into this conflict also. Bam. Now we are even. Gonna place one of its sword tokens, and it's not gonna get this because it didn't went to the space with the little concubine. So at least it's not gonna get additional ability, you know, to move here by taking the token of the Bene Gesserit. Alright, that was that. We send all our agents. So we don't have any agents to send, so we go to the conflict resolution, and we go from top to bottom, from left to right. So no conflict here. Conflict here, which is only Automa involved. All the troops will die and go back to supply. Bam. But Automa is gonna remove this and place its first banner. So now it's half controlling this location. It needs just one more banner to take the whole card and 2 points. We also have conflict here, and now is the time where, starting from me, we can play some it's called combat cards. I have 2. I can play this one, but I want to hold it. I mean, I can pay a spice, so I'm gonna play this ambush. So let me show you how this works. So any sword that I play, or maybe activate from the cards before that. Cards can be activated, as I said, during your turn, and this is like my turn that if I have some ability to activate the bottom part, I can do it even now. But here I get 4 swords. Now each sword will kill one of the enemy troops. So in this case 2 swords will kill these 2, and then each rest of the 2 sword will give me ability to take one of my troops from a supply, not from a garrison, but from a supply, because as I said, this is a different combat. We can get secret agents, maybe they already are into the combat. Bam. So this is how this works. So each sword kills one of the enemy troops. Each 2 sword can be turned into an enemy troop. Alright, so I just removed these 2. But it's not over yet. You'll see why. Now the Automa is gonna play its combat card. Oh, it's gonna actually reshuffle. Then it's gonna play a card. Oh, here it is. So Automa here will play 5 swords. 3 will kill 3 of my guys, and 2 will place one of their troops back. So Automa is now winning this conflict, unless I use this. And to be honest, I think I will have to. So it's back to me. It's back to me. I will have to play this one. I will spend 3 spice. And remember, Automa is gonna play the plot these combat cards same as me. So it's gonna play another one after this one. So let's hope this will actually do what it meant to do. So 1 sword will kill 1 guy, and then I have 4 more swords. Will put 2 of my guys back into the conflict. So a little tug of war going right now, and and it will stop when you don't have any more combat plot cards to play. Now let's see. Automa has 3 swords. 2 will kill my guys, but 1 sword is not enough to place anyone here. And it's another good example, because it probably with the question, what happens when there are no people inside the combat? Well, as I said, tiebreaker is the first player marker, and if you have multiple players, whoever is sitting on the left, so maybe these 2 players are fighting, tiebreaker is me, and maybe actually this guy in the blue may be fighting. Tiebreaker would go to the yellow guy because he's I'm sitting on his right side. He's closest to me on the right by the first player token. So in this case, I win the conflict. I have a tiebreaker. So I remove the sword, put my little banner, and Automa goes back. Sadly, not able to take control half of the Arakan city of Arrakis. Now let me show you this part here. You will notice, because it can happen, that you spread too much with your banners and you cannot place the banner. Well, you can actually retreat from a location, taking your banner back. So this is where you can do it, but it costs a political power. So you will have to play with your cards from a discard. So this icon means remove a banner, and you get like little small prize. You get a spice for that. All right. So that was a conflict resolution phase. Now we're going to recall our agent and we're going to clean up. Automa's going to get these go back on the board. All my agents going to go into my hand. First player token goes to Automa. All cards are high play this round go into discard. And that was our first round. I will stop the video here. I have one banner in Arakan. Automa has one banner in Winfields of Arrakis. We'll see. We're going to probably fight for it. And in the next videos, you will be able to watch more. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Goodbye.